Well, spring is here. It's the time everybody gets out, starts to look at homes, thinking about making that move, whether it's when kids get out of school,
Hmm.
or just wanting to look at property in much nicer weather. I'm Clark Alexander with Pure Funding. I'm here with Gary Pierce. Gary, how you doing?
I'm awesome. Great to see you.
Good to be here. So we're going to talk about getting prepared to make that move. What do you need to think about, and what tools are at your disposal, whether from us or from others, that can help you with that process? So, you're sitting here. It's middle of March. You're thinking about making a move this summer, and you're going into a competitive market, right? If you're talking about where
Hmm.
I am in Northern California, very
Hmm.
competitive. We're still seeing offers well above asking, multiple
Yep.
offers. So you're entering the gauntlet. It's our job to make sure that you're as prepared as can be walking into that discussion, so your realtor knows that you're qualified and ready to go. So when you do make that offer, you have the best chance of winning that bid. So why don't we start there, Gary? Like,
Yeah.
why is getting pre-approved so important in the process?
Well, number one, I think first and foremost, you need to know what your buying power is, right?
Hmm.
Number one. And so that's how we use the pre-approval process to figure that out, right? So we do an analysis of your credit, we do analysis of your income and your assets. And those are
Hmm.
the three big drivers of lendability. And so the income is your ability to repay, right? The
Hmm.
debt to income ratios, make sure we're staying within the ratios there. And then assets, do you have enough money for down payment? Do you need help with the down payment? Do you have, down payment assistance? We have all kinds of different programs for that. And then your credit can drive your rate. So the cost of your loan, right?
Hmm.
So, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing right now is, folks are coming in and they don't understand where their credit is. And so we can definitely help with that. I just had one last week where borrower came in 620 credit score. We needed them to be higher because we're using an alternative financing,
Hmm.
such as a bank statement in this case. And so you need to be above 660. We were able to get them over 685 within about 5 to 7 business days. And so we've got multiple avenues that's no cost to the client.
Yeah.
And so you really need to be thinking about it because what you do in a rush costs you money, right? So if that client comes in at 620, they're going to be paying a lot more for the loan than they are at 685. So
Yeah,
super important.
it's the credit piece is interesting because
Hmm.
you have people that are very knowledgeable, right? They
Hmm.
get a notification from their credit card, hey, your score is
Hmm.
adjusted, and there's some that just don't know. They haven't done anything or haven't had major credit impact. It is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about credit repair. So somebody in that scenario, like the example you were
Yeah.
just talking about, like how does that work? How do we go about? We don't have a magic wand that helps
Right.
adjust the score. What's the process from looking at that and seeing if we can't raise that rate?
Yeah. So we have within our credit program, our where we pull credit from, we have a tool that will give us a what if scenario, and we can say to that scenario, let's assume that somebody's at a 620 credit score, and we need them to be at 660.
Hmm.
So what we would do is we would request a 660 plus credit upgrade, send it off to the team. The credit team gets back to with us usually within about 24 hours, and they're going to give us a couple different answers, right? One is going to be there isn't an option, okay, and then we have to push you into a more long-term plan that might take 3 to 6 months, or they're going to come back and say, okay, great news, Clark. If you a lot of times you just got to pay a credit card down a little bit. You might have to. A lot of times we see where people are authorized users on multiple credit cards, typically with their
Yeah.
spouse. And so you get removed off as an authorized user. That increases your score. Again, back to that scenario before, I think there's, a couple $1,000s worth of credit cards. They just tell you, and it's very specific. It's to the penny. Like,
Yeah.
hey, pay this Capital One card down to, $172,
Hmm.
not pay it off to zero. Like it is a black box, and we are not credit experts. Big disclaimer, okay,
Yeah.
but we do have tools to help you get there. But
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Now, if it's not a short-term fix. Then we do have partners that we refer folks out to that help work with folks over a long-term period that might have some other things that they need to address. And there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of options out there you can search for. But usually in the loan process, we have a couple levers we can pull to help, 10, 15, 20, 30 points here and there to the good.
Yeah, and I don't think that's talked about enough. I think people come in and they think the number's the number. That's what I got to deal with. Those are the cards I'm dealt. I've got to take the loan and rate that goes with my corresponding credit report. I guess as we think about areas that I think people, we go to the length of actually getting underwriting involved to ensure that you're qualified. So I think we should talk a little bit about we hand you a letter saying you're approved for $500,000, $1 million loan, blah, blah, blah. Like how do we get to that point?
Yeah. So that's a good place to start, because what we do in our process here is with our team, bring in the information, we get the application, we pull credit, and be clear, there is a difference between saying, hey, you're pre-qualified and you're pre-approved. Pre-approved means we've looked at your income, we looked at your assets, we've looked at your debts, and now we're pulling your credit. And so we are able to take that and then run it through what they call automated underwriting system. And we get a determination based on that information, whether it's a go or no go, or if there's something we need to fix. And so it's super important. And just to kind of go further back to the realtor side of it, I would say the majority of listing agents are going to request a proper pre-approval before accepting an offer. So you can make as many offers as you want, and your buyer rep can make as many offers as you want, but most of those are going to get put to the bottom of the pile if there's no proper pre-approval. So that's another important point.
Yeah, it's not hey, we think you can get approved for this number. We're actually going through the exercise of, pretty much writing the loan to say, in this scenario, can I get Gary approved? If this is the income, this is the liability, this is the credit score. We're going through that exercise. And like you said, putting it through, digital underwriting process to get that approval, so that when you talk to your buyer's agent, you could say, here's my letter. I'm approved X amount. We're good to go. I'm confident I can secure that loan, which removes any lending contingencies that might be on the offer. It just gives you a leg up.
Absolutely. And then a step further from that is our VAL experience, our verified approval letter. That's actually where we submit your file to an underwriter and they underwrite the income. So it's no different than any other loan we submit to an underwriter. It comes in as a TBD because you haven't acquired a contract yet. And so they're going to look at it and say, okay, Clark, you're good to go. We've looked at your income, your assets. Based on this, you're good up to a $550,000 loan, whatever that down payment, whatever you have as assets, cash to close. And so that's another really good way that we like to use on as many of the deals as we can to ensure that we're getting as much done on the front end. And then it makes the loan process that much easier. You don't have as many documents required because you've already done all the work on the front end.
Well, you're not looking at properties.
Stressful.
Yeah, and you're not looking at properties going like, I wonder if I can afford this. Like, if I have to get access, you have a solid picture based on your financial situation. People aren't sitting around, building their own DTI, debt to income ratio. Like that's our job to help you get through that. So really, it sounds like number one, make sure you have your documentation. Your income, tax returns, your pay stubs, your bank statements, have all that documentation ready for when you submit an application so we can begin this process. We'll be very upfront on when we're going to run credit. And if there is an issue with credit, we have ways we can help improve that score. And if we 100%. Can't do it in-house, we have partners that will definitely help you as well. And then obviously the VAL, right? Getting that letter in hand for give your buyer's agent and the listing agent on any properties you're looking at, making sure that that they know you are a
Mhm.
serious qualified buyer and there aren't going to be
Yeah.
any financing hurdles once the offer is accepted. So that sounds like those are the bases that we want to
Yep.
cover to give you the best chance, the best leg up to secure the property that you're looking at.
100%.
Awesome. Good stuff, Gary. Thanks so much for jumping in, doing a deep dive on this area. I think the credit piece is probably going to be new to some people. You know,
Yeah.
I can do something to my credit score. We're happy to work with you there. Get in
Quickly.
touch with us. Yeah, we can do it quickly. It's not a lengthy process. We can get very specific on what you need to accomplish. So, you know, get in touch with a loan officer. We will gather all your information, get that application in, do all the analysis, and then work with you on getting you an approval letter in your hands so you're out there shopping with confidence.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks so much for taking the time, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you guys soon. Take care.
Bye.